Good night. Welcome to this another episode of the Saudichress Show. A special good night to you all. This has been a while. This has been maybe a week or two since I have not graced you people with the Saudichress Show. You know, Wednesday night is customary educational night. And so, back to school. What else could we talk about tonight? You know, I must say to you people, I'll be all alone tonight. And so, as your host, I invite you to give me your participation. Participate tonight. Let me hear what you have to say in the chat, of course. And also, if you wish to comment live, if you want to join the Saudichress Show live, to be a co host tonight, just let me know. Just type it in the chat. I will actually put the link for the live show in the chat. I want to bring special welcome to all the new, yes, I must say, all the new fan of the Saudichress Show. If you're joining us for the very first time, a special big up to you. One that is coming from the heart. And not to withstand those who are always here, you're also welcome. And I want you people, the class monitors and the prefects of this class, share, of course, with the newcomers. Give them a warm welcome, yes? And let us always have them back. Well, tonight, people, you have seen the topic that was actually put out there. And so we want to really look into the issues that probably affect the reopening of school. And of course, the number one issue, I believe, is the shortage of teachers in our Jamaican schools, in our Jamaican classroom, and so on. We also want to look at the whole aspect of the resignation of our teachers. It has shown that over 800 and odd teachers has resigned since January to September. The last time I did a show, I remember commented on the fact that the minister, Honorable Favour Williams, would have highlighted some 400 and odd teachers. That's in August, and I think it was about August 20. 400 and odd, or 400 plus teachers has resigned then. But within a few days, another 400 resignations were submitted. I remember at that time I also stated that I believe there are much more resignations out there, but have not just submitted to the authorities or maybe to the regional offices. There are a number of teachers who have left already and are yet to submit a resignation. So the numbers could be far greater than the present 800 and something teachers that we're talking about. It could be. So the 854 teachers have resigned, who have tendered their resignations between January and September this year. It seems to be a very good sign comparing to what happened last year. But how much our education system can offer with this sort of turnover in our schools? Based on our reports, or should I say reports that I have gotten since Monday, we have a fair start of the school year. Not much interruptions because of this massive resignation. Most schools, especially our primary schools, have started on Monday. And of course, with registration and orientation, so not much curriculum, yes, activities going on. But I must hasten to say that based on the numbers, we still have to keep looking out. A matter of fact, there's still a number of schools sending out advertisements for teachers. There are some schools who are still short of 10 and above. One of the strangest thing to me though, people, the teachers who have resigned in August, as the minister stated, and also the present JTA president, Mr. Leighton Johnson, I saw in a reading post that I have read, he mentioned that this is unprofessional for teachers to be resigning without giving due notice to their school administration. Of course it is. The Code of Regulation, I believe, spoke about notice of different sorts. And later we'll dive right down into what the Code of Regulation that we are still using, yes, that was published since 1980. So yes, it may be unprofessional. But I want to say to you, Jamaica, I want to say to you people, I don't believe we should be arguing today or tonight about whether the resignation was unprofessional, legal or illegal. It's an unfortunate situation that is where we're at now. So we should have measures in place that we should be looking. We shouldn't be so devastated. We shouldn't be so heartwhelming. We shouldn't be so hurt by these resignations. One thing that I want to mention as well, even though people we have seen this high resignation, just remember this is a global crisis in the education sectors, not just Jamaica. And what I'm looking at now, if it seems like if the other countries, let's say USA and England, maybe some of our Caribbean countries too, Bahamas, they're probably in a worse state than us. Because they are the ones, these countries are the countries that are actually recruiting our teachers. Yes, we can look at it and, quantify the issues, quantify the population or the cohort. But if we can afford for every single year, over 3 years now, a maximum, and let me not use a maximum, but it's a probability, yes? We don't sure of the numbers of how many teachers have left Jamaica over the past couple of years. Where have they gone? Why are our teachers leaving our classroom? Why are teachers leaving Jamaica land we love? I ask these questions because what I have learned, let's say in the US, the teachers who have left the classrooms in the US, they have not gone to another country. They just leave the education sector. So this gives me the rise to actually putting another topic for discussion. What about the opportunities that we have for you in Jamaica outside of the classroom? So there is nothing else for the teachers to do here, so they leave for other countries. There's another thing I want to mention, and I really want you to take note of this one. Every single Jamaican these days, yes, teachers migrating, and we're pictures of a group of 20 odd teachers celebrating, enjoying themselves out there in one of the Carolinas. But why are we so alarmed over these things? Have you ever checked to notice that teachers are not the only persons or professionals leaving Jamaica? A matter of fact, persons without careers, who are not professionals. There are more persons who are not professionals who leave Jamaica every day to other first world countries. So why are we making a massive deal as if only teachers have given up on Jamaica? It's too much to think, people. But let us look at it this way. It affects our country. It affects the nation in such a way where our future can be very dull if you're not careful. Again, people, please like the show. Yes? Share. Make sure you subscribe, because if you don't subscribe, you won't be able to participate in the chat. But notwithstanding that, also, by subscribing, you help to grow the channel. As you notice, we're trying to move towards 1,000 subscribers before the end of this month. Yes. So before of the end of September, the Saudichress Show would love to have at least 1,001 subscribers. We are 918, so we still have a long way to go. But guess what? You will have to support us. I want to big up our sponsors over the past couple of months. Yes, the Saudichress TV channel on YouTube. Sponsors, as you can see on the screen. Now, I must also, on the other hand of the education spectrum, we need to give the ministry and the Minister of Education some props here. Yes, we need to actually recognize that there are some good things going on. But just a few people will talk about that right now, based on what's happening. But what worries me about the good things that we are seeing, people, why is it that good is coming, but yet still our teachers are going? There's a question I also want to ask out there. And if I have any persons with information, please let us know. Do we have principals leaving the classroom this year? And when I say leaving, not for retirement, but resignation, going on to US or North America in general. Because we continue to hear teachers, but there's no distinct differential statement as it relates to school administrators. So the question I would love to ask, do we have principals, education officers, lecturers? Do we have these people leaving Jamaica to take up jobs overseas? Food for thought. Food for thought. But we want to really look carefully at what happened or how we reach this stage as it relates to teacher shortages. We have seen high schools, submitting, or should I say, advertising for teachers in recent time, just before the reopening of schools. Just yesterday, we have seen a very popular high school in Kingston. Yes, very popular high school. They are suffering because they are short-staffed. And in recent time, they have received a number of resignations. But again, I really want to really reason. We want to look deeper into the schools that are mostly affected, or should I say the type of schools that are mostly affected by this resignation issue. Very few people mention the primary schools. Most persons who look or who talk about resignation or who mention schools that are suffering, they are looking at, they are mentioning just the high schools. But let put this one clear. Let me put this one on the table. There are a number of primary school teachers who have left Jamaica, who have left the classrooms. A whole lot. Yes. So it's not just the high schools. You will hear much about students or student teachers coming out of colleges. Yes, you will hear that thing. But one thing you'll also hear, and you don't speak about, those who are coming from those who are leaving the colleges, but they're not taking up the teaching jobs. As the Ministry of Education rightly says, and one of the measures to curtail the high resignation of our teachers, to sort of stifle the challenge that we have as teacher shortage, is that school administrators can have the leverage to engage final year students. Now, how will this work? It is highly possible. But one of the problems I'm seeing with this, how many of our colleges are within, let me rephrase that question. How many of our schools are in proximity to our colleges? When you look at the number of teachers' colleges in Jamaica, how many parishes have teachers' colleges? How many of those? If you look in Kingston and St. Andrew, you find approximately 3 teachers' colleges. Yes. Or probably you could say 4. A matter of fact, if you take this into consideration that all these universities will also done educational courses, so there will be 6 or 7. The last time I checked, I humbly checked by my notes right now, there are 7 institutions in Kingston and St. Andrew. 7 institutions. So those schools, yes, will be able to facilitate those teachers. There are some parishes are the nearest teachers college to them are miles away. So you can bear that in mind, that it will not be an easy task. While it is a very good initiative to cushion the problem, it is a very good initiative because presently the final year teaching practice students could be on, what did I say? Final year teaching practice? Yes. The final year teaching students or final year student teachers, they are presently engaged in practical, yes, teaching practice as we call it. And that is going on for the next one, 4 months or 3 months. So between 12 to 16 weeks of practicum. So they will also be able to cover at least 1 term of teaching. So those can be engaged. And by engaging, it's not just giving them class to teach, they must be properly compensated. So they can be offered a job. Yes, while they're on teaching practice. But what happened after the 4 months of teaching practice? Would they continue or they have to go back to their college or colleges to ensure that they completed their courses? So, I have not seen much um, information as how this will work or how it can work. It can work, no problem about that. It can. But to facilitate those student teachers, especially financially, to the start, as I said, if you employ them, fine. But the other side of it, what will happen? Is there communication between the Ministry of Education and these colleges to say this is what will happen, or can you do this after teaching practice? Those are the questions I'm asking. So all will agree. But saying that to say, let me talk a little about primary school system now and the impact of the teacher resignation and the impact of how the practice teachers may assist. Now, primary schools mostly were moving towards subject-based teaching. Yes. And what I have noticed, colleges are actually training the primary teachers to specialize to teach these single subject areas. Not so much the primary subjects, yes, but they are specialized to do language and social studies or math and some business, that sort of area. Now, when you have the primary school that is not in a subject base and there are shortage of teachers, how do we work that out? How can that be worked out? When the teacher comes in, yes, first and foremost for practical. So, what is the arrangement? How can we have a conversation with the Teachers College to ensure that they get their practicum right and the schools get what they want from these practice teachers? Is this sound a bit difficult, right? Or am I confused? I hope I'm not confusing you. But it is not as straightforward as how it is. I'm telling you, it's easier said than done. Now, administrators has to work overtime. Talk about overtime. We have to work overtime because to let this sort of arrangement work, you very well may have to alter your timetables. Yes, you have to make changes to ensure you facilitate these persons. So let me say, once these ideas are good and ready, there's still challenges. People, there's a saying that goes, fire there must tail and think a cool breeze. You know why I'm using that phrase, people? I got a text a few days ago from a colleague saying that you remember the days when the teachers were under siege. Yes? You remember the days when principals and boards would have brought some of these very teachers to the disciplinary committee for them to be fired. That was the question. And I responded, why is this? Why are you asking this question now? And the response was, no, the teachers are moving out. They are moving away without any form of discussions. So the teachers know have a handle. Yes, they have the handle. That's what they are saying. But just to look back at how this thing all started, people. Last year, when we all heard about the compensation package for public sector workers, many of our teachers were upbeat. Many of our teachers would have believed that this year their salary could have increased in such a way so they could live comfortably. And so I believe because of the disappointment, the teachers are disappointed in what they have received. It never seems to be that they're expected. That was not sold to them. And so they decided no, that they will have to leave. And I believe that is one thing that has given rise to late resignation because some persons never made up their mind. Some persons just recently decided, hey, there's an opportunity, let me go because there's nothing here. That's what I'm getting on the ground. That's the feedback that I have. So the government of the day, yes, did not prepare themselves for this. They did not see it coming because they believe that they have everything under control. And when the teachers crying out, when the teachers were crying out people, there were nobody in government to give a listening ear. You remember some statements that were made, yes, by some government officials. You remember while there were industrial actions by the teachers in some parishes. Did you remember how it came off? And so people looking on and they decided to go. We know that all of us can't go. All of us can't go. But the sad part about it, we always hear about brain drain. And people, let me tell you, we will be draining. Our brains will be draining. And this is why I told you. Not because you don't have the teachers, but don't take it for granted that those who are coming out of college are very inexperienced. Don't take it for granted that the CXC, the improvement in the CXC exam results that was the minister today alluded to, was of a result of those very experienced teachers, the very same ones who have packed their bags and gone. Don't forget that the improvement in the last PEP result, external grade 6 PEP results, there were improvement in the subjects. Don't forget that those were the teachers who assist or who taught the students. They have no God. And let me tell you this, let me just let this one clear from experience. And let me tell you this, my own experience as a teacher. To be a good teacher doesn't come overnight. It's a whole lot of work. It is commitment. It is the love for the job. It is the love for your clients, which are your students. It is the love for nation building. Yes? It wasn't any case of money. It wasn't the case of the love for money. So this love, an expression of these love, does not come overnight. So while the few experienced teachers leave here now, they will have to now guide the young ones. They have to mentor them. Remember, you have inexperienced and you have novice teachers. So novice teachers, people, are teachers who just live in teachers' college, who have never taught before, no experience in teaching. Again, don't forget, being a teacher does not limit or put you to chalk and talk. Or no, the technology, yes, it's not just passing on information, eh? But it's a lot of interaction, a whole lot of interaction with students of different background. You have to be tolerant, yes. You have to be able to bring yourself to have an open mindset. Yeah, that's what teaching is all about. So those who are coming in from teachers college have a long way to go, but I'm happy for them. Early experience, early exposure. Saying that to say, and people, I might get a little stick for this. I might lose some friends, maybe some colleagues too. But there are some administrators out there who wouldn't, for no reason, who don't want to employ a teacher without experience. Yes. I have gotten that when I was applying for job. I don't have the experience. No, where would I get the experience from leaving college? No, tell me. But look at it now, people. The very same administration like myself, who didn't get any experience when they left college, they are now asking for experience. But look at what has happened now. Look how the table has hung, where you're taking persons who have not even completed their teacher studies. Thank you, said the world no level. And it also, remember that when we were learning a little geography, yes, social studies, science, at some point we were told that we were made to believe that the earth is a sphere, right? So, or where it's a circle. When you look at a globe, yes, why is the globe a circle then? Or a sphere? What goes around comes around. So we have to move from the fact now, we have to move from the situation about trying to get people experiencing. Because you get to hold on to what you get. That is where we are in recent time. I have known administration, I have known persons who applied for a job and didn't get it. Don't even get an interview because what? They don't have the experience on their resume. Well, this is what is happening now. Final year practice teachers in our schools. There's one good thing I want to mention, about the start of this school year. The Ministry of Education this year has made a few adjustments to grants, yes, and even support staffing, which is good. Thank you very much, Honorable Favor and your team, the regional officers, the regional directors who continue to battle, who continue to fight to make their schools better. So there's a lot of additional staffing going on. There's staffing, support staffing being getting post numbers and salary being increased. Yes. So there are a lot of things going on. A whole lot of things. But within the scope of those good things, there are some little issues that always bring us back to square one. Yes, man. And we're talking about infrastructure. We're talking about furniture. So there are many schools that have started the school year with a shortage of furniture. There are many schools that have started the school year with dilapidating buildings, buildings that in need of repair for many years. There are schools that whenever the rain falls, there are certain parts in a classroom or classrooms that will have to left vacant. The only thing can be put there is a container to catch water. And they're not catching water for storage. So these are some real issues that are, given a negative impact on the reopening of school. I may be wrong. I may be wrong. But when I look at the news, where people visited the schools, where the media go to schools, they're going into the urban schools. I've seen where the minister tour a few urban schools. I'm not seeing where she come to any country. And I would have loved to see her up in Mount Rasa, Yorta, Village, yes, all of those schools, York Street, Topping, Crofton, Kellets. But you know what happened? Those roads to reach to those schools, I'm sure the minister would not have loved that trip at all. Yes, so maybe that's why she stayed in Kingston. But I've seen with Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth, though, reports have come out that there's a seamless start to the school year. Very good. Very, very good. But there are some different challenges, as I mentioned before, that would have given you a little headache here and there. I also want to thank the Ministry of Education, yes, for the time in which they plan to deal with this new teacher's appointment. Yes, they are pushing with this. They are giving more time to taking these documents and will try to ensure that these teachers will be paid for the month. Very good thing. I am hoping that these things will help to attract our new teachers. Because some of us who are old and gray like myself, there's nothing you could give to me, hmm, to say, well, you have to stay. Well, I don't have any plans of going right now. Don't know what tomorrow will bring, but just say you need now to attract the younger people. Mr. Finance Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, and other leaders, you also need to attract very bright minds in the classroom. It is really unfortunate for the government is trying to attract bright minds in politics. But I'm not seeing it fit to attract bright minds in the classrooms. And I'm just using that quote in people. I'm just using that quote because of how it was used. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this. Based on a study that is presently being conducted, and I'm not going to call the names, one of the main reasons why our teachers have left Jamaica for this year, they are saying they are embarrassed by the little increase on what they have got. That's just words, and we all know that, we all heard it. Even though, people would have applied some years ago, but guess what? If the salaries was one of what was important, was being satisfactory, was able for every single teacher to be satisfied, there would be no need for teachers to be running away. And if you ask the question, why running to a country that those teachers are running from? Why are you running to a situation that those locals are running from? Listen, I wonder if you understand what I'm saying. That's the question that I ask myself. But you know what? Believe it or not, is the compensation. I don't have any evidence to say that this is so, but listen, I've spoken to people who are teaching overseas, and when they tabulate and calculate all that they has to do and do the comparison, they're almost 2.5 times better off financially, knowingly that they have to live two lives in two countries because they have to live back in Jamaica. They have their baggage is left in Jamaica. You know, people have loans and all sorts of things still have in Jamaica, even though they're gone. So they have to service those loans. So even with that, living, paying mortgage in Jamaica, servicing loans, and going overseas and paying mortgage again, they are still better off by 100% sometimes. Who in their right mind would not give it some thought? And as much as we say we love it, we give it thought. Yes, man. We love the teaching and we love it here. But when you look at the dollars, yes, we give it thought. And again, when you listen to persons with that experience or teaching overseas, the realities are so different. We talk about indiscipline in our schools here. We talk about students in disciplinary discipline. Let's not even mention that. But the teachers know what they are going to. They know that the situation over there is not pretty. But they will battle it out because they are hard workers. And they will work and get what they went for. And they are now reaping the fruit. So people, it's a lot of things to look at, a lot of way to look at it, and we have to be mindful. All right, so we are 15 minutes away from the close of the show tonight. So we're gonna change gear a bit to another policy. Yes, that is now being worked on. It is the dress code and grooming policy for teachers. People, again, like, share, and subscribe. Please. You're out there and I'm not seeing the liking at all. You're not liking up the channel, people. You're not liking up the channel. Come on, man. Like up the channel, like up the channel. Now, let's move on to this. Not liking up the channel, you're not liking up the channel. This interesting other topic, people. Interesting other topic. Again, come on, hit the like button. If you don't hit the like button, we're not going any further. Hit the like button. I'm sure that you are logged on and you're listening, or maybe who are watching and listening just want to find something to hit out on the Saudichress Show tomorrow. I hope I'm not talking any gibberish according to my friends. All right, let's get back to business. So, the Ministry of Education, yes, have now agreed to develop a dress code and grooming policy for teachers. You know, just earlier tonight, I've seen on the news where a gentleman who, you know, wears hair tall and keen row, something like that. he was not given a job. He didn't got the job. Actually, he had gotten some information that he would have been successful in the interview. But because of his grooming, his hairstyle, the school, with their own policy, decided that this is not a part of their system. So they had asked him to cut his hair or wear a top. But based on his view, this is a 21st century. We are not 2 years back or 3 years back. Why is it that a hairstyle should hinder a young man from being a teacher or getting a teaching job? That's $1 million question. But I must say to you though, kudos to the schools who have their own dress code and grooming policy. It is very important. I strongly believe teaching is a professional that should have a professional attire. Again, one would ask, what is a professional attire, people? We are grown up in a society that we understand how do we dress to be professional, our professional. So therefore, having dreadlock, that is okay by the standards of some school because it's become through religious belief. But just wearing the regular high hair or cane rose, whatever you call it, since that is not a part of the religion, then it is said that you have to wear a tam or a trim. I won't chastise the school, and I will not chastise the young man either for their comments. But the truth of the matter, how many of us attend an interview looking like that? If that is the way the young man attended the interview, and initially you would have received the job and then been taken away, well, that's another story. But if he has attended the interview looking the way he looked, and they interviewed him, then I believe he should be given the job if he was successful. Because from day one, there's a thing that you said they have to nip it in the body. So if it reached there, before the interview, you should have called this man and said, based on Ray and stay, what is your take? This is our position. But the fact that you have given the opportunity to be interviewed, did well as what he said, and then just to turn away from it. Wow. So grooming and dress code policy, what is it we are looking at? What can it encompasses? And there are some persons are of the view now, is this the right time to implement such a policy? When the teachers are unsettled, just asking, is it the right time to effect this policy? By the way, is this policy being done by the technocrats in the education system? How much of our teachers, what part our teachers play in the grooming and dress code policy, developing that policy? Is the JTA a part of that is it board or collective people, team? Is the JTA a part of that? What is the JTA stance of the dress code and grooming policy? As I said to you, I strongly believe that there should be a professional conduct in our schools. That's our culture. If you want to change the culture, that's a different thing. And we can do so. The culture might not even have to change, but we can alter these policies. We can make things happen without uproar. So while I'm crying out, while I believe we should have a policy, we should have professional conduct, we should have professional dress code in our schools as teachers, there must be some leverage, yes? And let me point out what's happening now. The time is so hot, it's humid. Our classrooms are so hot. I've heard the minister mention about a pilot going to put ACs in schools. Is it that to combat the heat that we are feeling? How long will that take? Maybe it will just start when we are into the winter, when we can accept the temperature. Or maybe we're crying out for cold. Because one of the things is that when the minister or ministry talk, that and the education ministry, they take a mighty long time to do things. Yes, there are procedures, there are red tapes. But what I would love to hear from the minister, I would like her to do, whenever she make a pronouncement, please ensure that the actions are soon on its way. Or don't say anything until this action time. Please. We are tired of the promises. And not just a promise. And let me take that. Not the promise. But we are tired of the long waiting. There are so many things that was said that will be done. And to date, these are some issues, people, that I believe is hurting our sector. And when I say minister, it's not just this one. It's a collective effort from the governments on the days or at the days. That's how they behave. Education always suffers. And you're talking about suffers. I believe teachers or schools get so much bashing. Yes. I remember there's a particular year when the 6-year results were very low. And good God have mercy. The way parents and well wishers and other people in different places, professionals, targeted the teachers of non-performances. I'm seeing an increase now, and I'm not hearing the ray and the tay and the cheers. Come on, people. We need to be effective. We need to be honest, and we need to give unto Caesar what is due unto Caesar. So that when things bad, people will talk about it. But when the teachers do well, when we operate in such a way that is professional and liking, you need to let it know. So the minister, and if I'm wrong, please use the chat and correct me. And if you watch this after, please come on the next Saudichress Show and tell me that I was wrong. But I have not heard the minister in her pronouncement. Maybe it was and I missed it. But I'm not hearing her giving or bigging up her teachers to ensure that under the circumstances the students did better than last year. I'm not hearing that. That's not the message. Yes, the entire message or the topic would have been an improvement in the passes of the CXC subjects. Average, that is too. Sure, there are some subjects that are very low. But because you're averaging thing out and you're using the percentage, everything looks good. Nice. But I'm not hearing the voice for the teachers, people. And that it sounds as if these students was just on their own and does very good. What happened to the teachers? These are some reasons that people want to go. The incentives are not there, the rewards are not there, the empathy is not there. Come on, people. Work with the teachers. Work with the teachers. So with that though, and I mentioned the dress code policy and grooming policy. How will this affect this year's teaching and learning? Tell me, what would you say is a decent dress code or dressing for a teacher, people? Somebody let me know in the chat. We're still not giving no likings, you know, what one. I don't like it. Come on, man. All right, so we got a few likes. Give me some more. As you are there looking and listening and watching. I don't know what you're talking about, if you are doing. But the thing I'm saying, what would be a dress code, sensible dress code now for teachers? Could they just dress like me, shirt and a decent pants, no jeans? Or could they just wear jeans and t-shirt? You see, while I'm saying that, the leverage I'm talking about is that the time is hot now. And most days, people, I wear a tie. Most days, I wear a tie. But it's hot. I wear my tie because, yes, I am comfortable dressing like that. That is my professional dress code. That is how I believe I should dress. Fine. I will not tell every teacher to wear a tie. They don't have to. But what I'm asking, or what I would see, is to people to dress in a professional way. I'm not expecting a teacher, no man. Honestly speaking, I don't expect a teacher on a regular day to be wearing jeans and t-shirt. That's not our culture. But what I am saying, I'm also open to the change. If you want to have a culture change, I am ready for it too. I don't mind if I could just dress casual to work. I don't mind it. But it must be under guidelines. It must be that something that everyone accepts. And that's where the change will have to come. But as long as there is this as it is now, let's craft your dress code policy around that. I am still concerned of the members of that committee who will draft the dress code though. Which sector, what levels of the education sector are those persons from? Is it that you're asking each school or each region to do a draft dress code and policy and then you merge them and to create what? No. It must be terrible right now in schools in the Portmore and Kingston area how hot those places normally be. But let's not use the heat for the dress code or grooming policy doing up. Let's not use the thing because if you said you relaxed that, you'll be surprised to see some of the dressing that people wear. Yeah, man. I can't call any name or give you any ideas, but I went to somewhere recently and I see a particular person, the way he dressed, and he was wearing professional attire, but how it was done or how it fitted was a different story. So will the dress code capture that? Will the dress code talking about tight clothes, baggy clothes, short clothes, long clothes? Will it be talking about the type of shirt, the type of pants? Will it be talking? That is the sort of thing that I'm asking. That is where we want to get at it. What are we really addressing? Is it the type of garment, the style, or what? It's very important. And while I'm saying that, personally, because I have a dress code and grooming policy, yes, I do. So don't get me wrong, people. I have one at my school. But this is not a collective, this is an island wide, this is a Jamaica dress code policy. Not a Mount Grasa, not a Euratown, not a Spanish Town, not a KC. It is Jamaica now. Because my dress code and grooming policy, I'm sure it is different from that of a school, let's say halfway through primary, just for calling a school name. See, it may be different, it may be totally opposite. So it's good that each school has. So the fact that the schools know or the administration will develop that. What is the response? How will the response be from the government? So when Madam Minister mentioned about this dress code and grooming policy, talk to me, Minister, talk to Jamaica. Is it that these persons who draft the policy will be the very same teachers? Or the technocrats? Because for years, if we are comfortable with our dress code policy in our school, and you know to have something different, yes, to counteract what we have. So a national dress code policy. Who again, who are the persons involved? Interesting, eh? Very, very interesting. So tonight, just to look at the resignation, looking at the dress code policy. And of course, the minister is upbeat about the new school year. I am also upbeat, but the challenge is people, trust me. Right now, I've gone 3 days and it seems like I'm 3 months into the school year. I'm serious. And what I want to say, maybe my final thoughts here, the brain drain has started. Minister, Prime Minister, other members of the government, members of the opposition, parents. Yes, the brain drain has started. If you should check at the end of this week, don't be surprised come next week a few teachers are on sick leave. I hope my mouth is not going. That's not what I wanted. I wouldn't, that's not what I want to see. But the reality of it, as I mentioned, my 3 days already feels like 3 months. It is the most challenging. It is the most, what would I say now? Serious start of a school year for me. And there are many issues that start. There are many things that contributed to that. And these are some little things we love to highlight so we can get the assistance. So if anybody from my region, Region 6, is watching the show tonight, please, and I'm calling on the director, I won't call her name. I'm calling on the director because I'm getting a bit selfish now. Ensure that your officers will be going out in their numbers for this month. We need early support in the schools. Yes, we need early support. So that's just a word or two. The teachers need the support. The principals have to lend the support to those teachers. The board will have to lend their support to the principals. The EO, the officers need to lend their support. The parents need to lend their support. Everyone. So I want to take the time out, people, to congratulate all our teachers on their successes over the year. And I also want to say to you, be strong, be of good courage, work hard, but smart. The work continues. The work continues. We will have a better Jamaica if we get the changes in effect, the serious changes. Yes. We can be a better professional body if the government takes good care of their teachers or of its teachers. I hope that next year, this time, we're not talking about resignation of this magnitude. What I will leave with you to one question that hopefully we can take on next Wednesday when we shall return. What can the government do at this time? What can the government do at this time to ensure our teachers stay here? That's $1 million question. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us tonight. If you like the show, please hit the like button. If you don't necessarily like the show, but you watch it, ask that you hit the like button. I haven't had a comment tonight. Why is that so? But nothing is wrong. If you are here and you never subscribe, that means you are unfortunately you cannot comment. So you need to subscribe, like, and share this Saudichress channel. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for staying with me for tonight. Hopefully, for those of you, whether you're a parent, a teacher, principal, education officer, whatever part you play in this sector, support worker, support staff, I wish for you a successful school year. Ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a good night.